Hey everyone! 2019 film Vita and Virginia, directed by Chanya Button, offers a vivid, if imperfect, lens into the passionate and complex relationship between Vita Sackville West and Virginia Woolf, two literary titans whose affair in the 1920s defied societal norms and inspired Woolf's groundbreaking novel Orlando. For a YouTube audience craving depth and relevance, this film isn't just a period drama. It's a portal to explore themes of gender, creativity, mental health, and rebellion against patriarchal constraints, all set against the vibrant backdrop of Bloomsbury's Bohemian Rebellion. Let's dive into an analysis that weaves the film's narrative, its cultural significance, and educational threads into an engaging tapestry for our channel, balancing historical context with modern resonance to keep viewers hooked. From the outset, Vita and Virginia captivates with its portrayal of two women who, in their own ways, challenge the rigid structures of 1920s England. Gemma Arterton's Vita is a flamboyant aristocrat, striding through life in daring trousers and kimonos. Her open bisexuality a scandalous affront to her mother's disapproval and her husband Harold Nicholson's hypocritical unease. Elizabeth Debicki's Virginia, meanwhile, is a fragile genius, wrestling with mental illness and the weight of her own intellect, yet electrified by Vita's audacity. Their chemistry, though sometimes unevenly captured, sparks a narrative that's less about historical accuracy and more about emotional truth. The film, adapted from Eileen Atkin's play, draws heavily on the real-life letters between the two, which brim with wit, longing, and intellectual sparring. These letters, woven into the dialogue, ground the story in authenticity while highlighting the power of words to forge intimacy across class and temperament. For a YouTube audience, this is a chance to hook them with a universal question. How do two people so different in outlook find a connection that changes them forever? It's a question that resonates whether you're talking about 1920s London or today's digital age, where identity and connection are constantly redefined. Culturally, Vita and Virginia lands as a bold reclamation of queer history, a theme that's ripe for unpacking on our channel. The 1920s were a time of paradox. Post-World War I liberation clashed with lingering Victorian morality, and women like Vita and Virginia were caught in the crossfire. Vita's sapphic pageant, as her husband sneers, wasn't just personal indulgence. It was a radical act of self-definition in a world that demanded women be wives, mothers, or nothing. Virginia, too, subverts expectations, not through Vita's flamboyance but through her modernist writing, which shattered narrative conventions as much as their affair shattered social ones. The film's depiction of their open marriages underscores a fluidity that feels strikingly contemporary, inviting viewers to reflect on how far society has or hasn't come in embracing non-traditional relationships. You could draw a line from this to modern discussions of polyamory or gender fluidity, making the film a springboard for engaging audience with questions like, what does it mean to live authentically in a world that's always judging? This ties directly to educational themes. 2. Think of how Woolf's A Room of One's Own argued for women's intellectual and financial independence. The film subtly nods to this, showing Virginia's struggle to write amid societal pressures and mental turmoil. A reminder for students or creators watching our channel that creativity often demands defiance. The film's visual and oral choices amplify these themes, though not without flaws, perfect for a YouTube deep dive that keeps it real. Cinematographer Carlos de Carvalho's lush frames, paired with Isabel Waller-Bridge's anachronistic electronic score, create a tension between period authenticity and modern urgency. Vita's bold costumes scream rebellion, while Virginia's muted palette mirrors her inner fragility, offering visual cues you can unpack for viewers who love dissecting film craft. But the CGI vines used to depict Virginia's mental illness? They're divisive. Some see them as poetic, others as a cheap aestheticization of a serious issue. This is where you can lean into critique, asking audience, does this stylization honor Woolf's struggles or does it trivialize them? It's a chance to educate on mental health stigma then and now. In the 1920s, Woolf endured the rest cure for her breakdowns, a patronizing treatment rooted in misogyny. Today, we're still grappling with how to portray mental illness without romanticizing it. By tying this to broader cultural conversations like the pressure on artists to perform stability, you make the film relevant to aspiring creatives watching our channel. Creativity itself is a central thread, and Vita and Virginia offers a masterclass in how relationships fuel art. Vita becomes Virginia's muse, inspiring Orlando, a novel that leaps across time and gender with anarchic glee. The film shows Virginia wrestling with her craft, her typewriter a battleground where genius fights despair. For our audience, this is gold. Whether they're writers, filmmakers, or TikTok creators, they'll relate to the grind of making something meaningful. You can draw parallels to how modern creators use platforms like YouTube to subvert norms, much like Woolf used fiction to challenge gender roles. Educationally, this links to literary studies. Orlando is a proto-feminist, proto-queer text, blending biography and fantasy to immortalize Vita. You could riff on how Woolf's stream of consciousness style mirrors the film's fragmented tone, inviting viewers to explore modernist literature's impact. Throw in a fun challenge. What's your Orlando, a project that breaks all the rules? It's a way to make literary history accessible without losing depth. The film's broader cultural resonance lies in its defiance of patriarchy, a theme that's both timeless and urgent. Vita and Virginia navigate a world where men, husbands, publishers, even supportive ones like Leonard Woolf, hold the reins. Their affair, though imperfectly rendered, is a rebellion against these constraints, a space where they define themselves beyond male gaze. This echoes Laura Mulvey's feminist film theory, which critiques how cinema objectifies women. Here, Button tries to center female desire. For our channel, this is a chance to unpack how media shapes perception. Then, women were confined to drawing rooms, now they're battling algorithm biases or online trolls. You can ask viewers, how do women creators reclaim their narrative today? It's a question that bridges 1920s salons to 2025's digital landscape, making the film a catalyst for discussion. Educationally, this ties to gender studies where students analyze how power dynamics shape identity. You could even toss in a nod to intersectionality. Vita's privilege as an aristocrat contrasts with Virginia's precarious mental and financial state, a reminder that freedom isn't equal even among rebels. Where the film stumbles, and this is key for keeping the tone authentic, is in its pacing and depth. Critics like Roger Ebert's reviewer noted its disjointedness, a mix of romance, biopic, and social commentary that never quite gels. Arterton's Vita can feel one note, all bravado without vulnerability, while Debicki's Virginia carries the emotional weight, her panic attacks raw and riveting. For audience, this isn't a deal-breaker but a talking point. Can a flawed film still spark big ideas? You can argue it does, especially in how it captures the messiness of love and art. The lack of focus mirrors Woolf's own chaotic mind, a risky choice that doesn't always land but invites empathy. By acknowledging the film's limits, its slow patches, its occasional reliance on cliché, you build trust with viewers who want honesty, not hype. Tie this to a broader lesson. Perfection isn't the goal, impact is. Whether it's Woolf's novels or your next video, it's about daring to create. For educational threads, Vita and Virginia is a goldmine. Beyond literature and gender studies, it touches on history. Think of the Bloomsbury Group's role in shaping modernist thought, blending art, politics, and sexuality. You could pitch this to students as a case study in how subcultures drive change, from 1920s intellectuals to today's online communities. The film also nods to media literacy. Vita's radio broadcast and Virginia's printing press scenes highlight how new technologies amplify voices, a parallel to YouTube's democratizing power. You can ask audience, what's the 2025 equivalent of Woolf's Hogarth Press? It's a way to make history feel alive, not dusty. Plus, the film's focus on letters as a lifeline between lovers is a reminder of communication's intimacy. Compare that to DMs or Discord chats today, and you've got a hook for younger viewers who live online. To wrap it up, Vita and Virginia isn't flawless, but its ambition makes it a perfect launchpad for our channel's deep dive. It's a story of two women who dared to love, write, and live on their terms, leaving a legacy that still burns bright. For audience, it's a chance to explore how art and identity collide then and now, with plenty of room for personal reflection. You can end with a call to action. What's your rebellion, your art, your voice, your truth? It's a way to leave viewers inspired, ready to create their own Orlando in a world that's still learning to listen. Roughly, this analysis gives you a meaty script to adapt, blending storytelling, critique, and big ideas to keep YouTube community buzzing. Thank you.